What's going on, y'all? Dante's Boxing Nation, DBN Radio. We are live. We about to get the show started. In just a minute, guys, we're going to warm up the mics, and we're going to get the show started, y'all.
Mic check, mic check.
Mic check, mic
What's
check.
up, everybody?
We got my man Joey Spencer in the building.
How's it going?
Prospect. We're going to be talking to him. We got my man Milton, co-host, in the building. What's going on, Milton?
Not much. What's going on, Dante?
All right. We about to get it started in a minute, y'all. We're going to give shots out like we always do. That's what it is. And just remember, guys, there's going to be a little bit of a pause before the actual show starts. And then we're going to get it in. We're going to be talking about everything, man, from your boy Roman Gonzalez getting knocked out in the 4th round. Quadras versus Estrada. David Benavidez versus Gavril. And then we got a couple things with Jim Lampley trying to clown Floyd Mayweather. He was so pissed off Roman Gonzalez lost, he didn't know what to do. So we're going to talk about that as well.
Adrian Broner.
Adrian Broner wilding out on the strip. Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about all that. It's about to go down, y'all. We're going to give shots out. Everybody go ahead and rep your town, rep your city. You already know what it is. What's going on, y'all? What's going on, Shout Rock? What's going on? We're about to get started in a minute, y'all. Chicago was like, whoa. What's going on, Alexander? My man Big Ron from, where's that? Is that Montana or Montreal? Okay, that's what it is. NYC, my man Top Cat. What's going on, y'all? We about to get the show started in a minute. Rep your city. Denver in the building. Step your game up. What's going on, man? Cleveland, Ohio. That's what it is. We got a good show for you guys tonight, man. Special guest in the building. One of the best prospects, my man Joey Spencer, is in the building.
Yes, sir.
We got my man co-host, as always, Big Milt is in the building.
What it do?
Yeah, y'all, it's going down. We got my man Kirk Jackson on the line. We got a whole lot to talk about. The show will start in about 2 minutes, y'all. Just giving shots out as always. What's going on to my man James Payton, South Texas in the building. That's what it is. My man Demo, Copenhagen. All right. We got them all over the world. Repping San Diego. That's what's up. And what's that? Fur coats? Or whatever that is. Representing San Diego. All right. Man, it's going down, y'all. We're about to get the show started in a minute, y'all. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Louisiana, my man Shell Rock. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get it cracking, y'all. Once again, there will be a small pause. And then we're going to get it rocking, y'all. What's going on, guys? This is your boy Dante with Dante's Boxing Nation. And let me tell you something right now. If you guys are looking for the best fragrance products in the world, you need to go to ashkicking.com. That is ashkicking.com.
Gotta put your plug
Keep your home smelling fresh and clean with Ash Kicking
oh,
fragrance
man,
products.
Of course.
Oh, that's my sponsor. Skin and hair
Man, where you get that
all natural health and beauty products. Everything you need to create a comfortable home living environment and create a comfortable space for entertaining. The best incense burners in the world, home fragrance products, and health and beauty products. Go to ashkicking.com.
Brothers and sisters! Brothers and sisters!
Yeah.
I don't know what this world is coming to.
A lot more of him lately.
Hey yo, check this out. This is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
What's going on, y'all? DBN Radio is going down. I am your host, Dante, as always. We got a great show for you guys. Let me first introduce my special guest in the building, my man sitting right next to me, one of the best prospects out right now, my man Joey Spencer. What's going on, Joey?
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
All right. We got my co-host in the building, as always. My man Milt is in the studio. What's up, Milt?
What's good, Dante?
All right, man. We about to get it in. And we got Kirk Jackson. He's a former fighter, and he's a writer on BoxingInsider.com. My man Kirk. What's going on, Kay?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
All right, y'all. And y'all already see the number on the screen. You guys can call in. We'll take some calls a little later on. But man, oh man. Decafs, boy. Suicide watch, Milt.
Hey, rough year for the decaf.
Suicide watch.
Rough year for the decaf.
Rough year for the decafs, man. Now, I mean, let's go ahead and start with you, my special guest, my man Joey Spencer. First things first, man. Introduce yourself to the world. Let them know a little bit about your background and everything in the sport of boxing, and around the time you planning on turning pro, man.
Hey, I'm Joey Spencer. I'm a 9-time national champion as an amateur. On the USA boxing team, traveler for 2 years before I decided to, get ready to make my pro debut. I'm getting ready here to make my pro debut. I'm 17 years old. Here probably in November, I got some big things cooking up, and we're going to be making an announcement soon about when that debu's coming. I've been cleared to fight in Nevada at 17 years old.
At 17.
By the Nevada State Athletic Commission. So it's going to be big. I'm excited for it.
So Joey, you ready to make that transition over, man? I mean, at age 17.
Yeah, absolutely. We've dedicated this year just to getting ready. So that's the big thing. Is just it is different. Changing up your style and a little bit just to focus more on power and less on points and some different things. But I'm comfortable and I've been doing it for a long time. It's what I've done since I was 8 years old. So I'm ready for anything.
And he trains out at the Virgil Hunter's gym.
Absolutely.
Something else we didn't mention, man.
Absolutely.
So you've been working with some of the best. You over there with Amir Khan, Peter Quillen, Andre Ward, of course.
Andre Ward.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've seen some great examples of Andre Ward, seeing him, and being able to get advice from all these guys like Khan and Peter and Berto and Andre Ward. And, so it's been a good experience for me throughout this whole year, just preparing to make that pro switch. And I've had some pretty good examples in doing so.
Absolutely, man. That's what's up.
Yes, sir.
Now, Milton, was there anything you wanted to drop real quick? Or
when is your anticipated debut, or when are you?
It looks like November.
November.
Yep, November.
Okay.
There's a couple of days in November in Nevada that it looks like, in Vegas that it looks like I'm gonna be, one of those dates I'm gonna be fighting on, I'm sure. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And we see you. I've seen you on Dante's Boxing Nation a few times.
Absolutely.
And I know a lot of people talk about the sparring that goes on out here in Nevada. It's kind of second to none. A lot of people gravitate it. Do you anticipate being out here sparring a lot more in the future?
Yeah, definitely. Even just training out here since I've been out here, the heat is crazy out here. You know what I mean? It's a lot different.
It'll take a long time. I've been out here for 8 years. I'm still not used to it.
Man, 5 for me, and I'm not used to it.
Right. It's crazy. So you come out here and you start sparring in this heat. It's different. So I'm definitely, before I fight, I'm going to be coming out here more often and getting acclimated and things. And obviously, it's a hotbed for boxing. There's a lot of prospects and a lot of fighters out here. So want to come in shoulders with everybody, before I turn. So definitely, like I said, the weather's a lot different than the Bay.
Yeah.
The Bay's breezy. So
yeah. Now, Joey, you called this long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
I called this long time ago. Roman Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
You remember what you said in the interview on my channel?
Yeah.
You remember what? Go ahead, and if you could kind of reiterate what you said back then. That was a long time ago. You said this, by the way.
I actually remember him saying that.
Yeah,
I do.
You were talking about Roman Gonzalez, and go ahead.
I was just talking about guys with a style like Roman Gonzalez, more of a that more lack defense.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there's a certain type of pedigree that comes with being, pound for pound.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's a certain style, if you look back at the history of the sport, that there's a certain style that generally stays at the top. His style, defense, and even though he's a great fighter, I said back then, I felt like he wouldn't last. Because guys, like Floyd says, the less you get hit, the longer you last in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And guys who kind of take one to give two, they generally fade out faster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They generally just don't last as long. And yeah, he did move up in weight classes. He was in his 4th. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Floyd was in his 5th. And
Floyd
stayed there. You know what I mean?
And not only that, but I'm gonna let Milt, because we was talking off air about this, where Milt was talking about him moving up in weight.
Mm-hmm.
But Milt, the thing to me, or with me, is he didn't really have like top level of opposition when he was in them smaller weight classes. He didn't really, fight tough competition until he fought against Estrada. And that was a fight, that he struggled. But we seen even in this last division he was at, he was the bigger, stronger guy against everybody he faced. And that's how he was winning a lot of those fights, right? I mean, it wasn't until he moved up to this weight class where you could see that opponents, they could actually take his power, and he had to win with something else other than just size and strength. I mean, is that kind of how you seen it, or you attribute it solely to him moving up so many weight classes?
I don't attribute it solely to him moving up in weight classes. And I will tell you this. At those smaller weight classes, when you see anything below bantamweight, a lot of those guys do fight almost the same style. You don't see a lot of defense when you looking at flying below. I've never seen.
Well, I don't know about that. They have different styles down there, man.
If you can name me a great flyweight or someone around that weight class where they don't just bang.
Mark Too Sharp Johnson, he was kind of like a slick.
He was slick.
Clarence Benson.
I mean, even slick, but man, I'm telling you, he would bang.
He would bang, but he had defense though.
I'm not saying they don't have any defense, but they bang at those lower.
Oh yeah, they bang.
And I tell you, most of them bang out at around age 30. Mm-hmm. Even Alexis Arguello. I know Max pointed that out last night, but Alexis Arguello, he had moved up in weight, and he was fighting.
But that was another fighter who walked into every punch that was thrown.
It's the exact same style, but that doesn't make
exactly.
It doesn't,
that's my point.
It doesn't say that he's not a great fighter, though.
Oh no,
but that's the point. That's the point I want to make, because there's a lot of people out there that's sniping this cat.
Well, let me say this:
he was just a hype job.
Let me say
he was not. He couldn't fight.
He's a great fighter, but he's not a pound for pound.
And I agree with that. I agree with you on that.
It depends on. We have to define great though. You know what I mean?
Because he was a great fighter.
I mean, because you could call him a Hall of Famer and all that kind of stuff, but you can't put him on the level of certain fighters, like you said, like pound for pound type fighters. This is the thing. The main thing is that was an opportunity for Roman to show that he could adjust.
Let me tell you.
The one time where he was in there with someone who could punch just as hard as he could, who had the same type of size, the same type of advantages, physical advantages that he had, that was when it was time for him to show he could deal with adversity. When he lost, to come back from a loss and avenge that loss, that's how you show you could deal with adversity. He couldn't deal with the adversity.
Let me tell you.
So you could say great on the level of, he turned pro, he won some belts, and that's great.
Come on, man. What I mean? Don't diminish the man. See, that's what I'm saying, man.
Who are we comparing them to, though? Because that's what we have to. Because look at it this way, too. He came up around the same time that Terrence Crawford came up, and a lot of these prospects, he came up around the same time they came up. And we are talking about him past tense already. You see what I'm saying?
It's a wrap.
So he's the only one.
It's a wrap.
Go ahead, Joey.
Like I said, though, at that age, man, most of those guys bang out at around age 30. You do not see those smaller fighters fighting into their mid 30s.
But it's because of the style, like you said. The style
I
of a
think
lot
it's
of
more of a style thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree.
Like you said,
just watching him fight, like when he was fighting the Thailand fighter, I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, but he was getting outboxed. He wasn't just getting banged up. He was getting outboxed. And you're supposed to be a pound for pound, high quality fighter. And I mean, can you see Andre Ward getting outboxed like that?
Thank you. I mean,
let me tell you, he was mentally beaten. I tell you that when he entered the ring last night,
he was.
He looked. He looked like
I agree with you on that.
He looked beaten before he even threw a punch.
Right.
And then when he took the first headbutt, he complained about that first headbutt. He was already thinking headbutts. And then another thing too, he stated back in the dressing room, or he stated in pre-fight the day before that he didn't know if his power could deal with the guys that he was fighting at that level. And Andre Ward said, I don't know if I would have verbalized that. I don't know if I would have made that statement, because the thing is, when you put that doubt in your mind, I think he had already put doubt in his mind, and he couldn't win.
Wrong Vasai put doubt in his mind.
Yeah, Wrong Vasai.
He put the doubt in his mind.
He did, but I would say, I'll tell you this too. And in that first fight, which I think he won, I think he won the first fight. Let me tell you, the only other person that had beaten Wrong Visai in recent memory was Quadras. And that was on an 8-round fight where he headbutted Quadras, and he got a gash over his eye, and they stopped the fight.
Yeah,
they had to stop the fight and go to the scorecards. And I think Quadras was up slightly on all cards, but they deducted a point from him.
Yeah,
he headbutted Chocolatito 4 or 5 times, 3 times viciously in that first fight. And I'm talking about they probably should have deducted a point. It probably should have been a disqualification on that third butt. I've never seen anybody get head butted in the top of their head like that, man, and bleed like that. And I'm telling you, that had an effect on him in that first fight. This fight right here, after losing, I think it shook his confidence, and his confidence was gone.
But Milton, go ahead, Kirk. Go ahead, Kirk.
I was going to say, HBO, they were suggesting that when it came to this fight, Roman was preparing to avoid headbutts, or he was conscious of the headbutt, so that kind of affected his game plan. But don't you think he should have prepared for an outside game plan, where he fights more so from the outside as opposed to betting on the outside and exchanging like he did in the first 2 fights? And if he's a pound-for-pound quality fighter, can he make those adjustments?
Can he make the adjustments? And you're going in there with a guy. You're going in there with a southpaw. Headbutts occur, so that you could prepare for that. And not only that, but when the media builds up certain fighters as monsters, he should be strong mentally too. Oh yeah, right.
He showed a lack of mental toughness. Yeah.
Here's the thing: is like me and my dad talked about when when Ward fought the first fight with Kovalev, and there was so much wrong in that fight that many people didn't know about. He had the knee problem; he couldn't even run in that camp. There was just a lot wrong in that fight. But me and my dad, were listening to him talk. He talked like nothing was wrong at all, and he would tell the media that he was going to win this fight. He wasn't going to lose the fight. So I asked my dad one time, I said, how come you think Dre acted so confident when his knee had a problem? It's because if he would have acted any different, that would have been putting doubt in that he couldn't win with the knee problem. You know what I mean? And then you're gonna lose. You know what I mean? So he was thinking he's speaking against that doubt. You know what I mean? And it's more than just being able to be a good fighter. Roman, everyone's saying, I don't think anyone's doubting if he was a good fighter. But Andre Ward was coming behind Floyd and winning championships in cleaning out his division, and people were already starting to talk about him as a pound for pound when Floyd was around. Absolutely. It was pretty much a fact that when Floyd retired, he was going to be put pound for pound. Yeah. But right when Floyd retires, where does this guy come from?
Yeah, out of nowhere.
And how is Triple G even... I was looking at the pound for pound list in the Ring magazine last night. The fact that Triple G is number 2 behind Andre Ward.
They have Triple G as number 2?
Number 2 behind Andre Ward.
Wow.
You're in your first weight class ever. You never even moved up in weight. How can you be pound for pound? That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
And once again, like I said, I think I said it to you before. I don't know who I said it to, but I said it to somebody else. If Golovkin would have fought Andre Ward
and beat him
back then he would have met the same. No, I'm saying if he would have fought him, he would have lost to him.
Of course,
especially after watching the Danny Jacobs fight. We know that for sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
He would have met the same fate as Roman Gonzalez. And just to go back to what he just said, when he makes the contrast talking about Andre Ward did exactly what Roman Gonzalez could not do. He moved up to a higher weight class. He was considered the smaller guy. Like I said, remember, Roman was the bigger guy in his division, before he moved up. It wasn't like he moved up 4 weight classes like Floyd or Pacquiao, where he was always going in there as a smaller guy, and he had to make up for his size with his skill or his defense. He always relied on this. Ward had to beat Kovalev with intelligence. And just like Joey just said right now, going in there with injuries, he had to hide that. Yeah. He had to still be strong mentally and physically. And Roman Gonzalez, that's the bully mentality to me, because he was strong when he was the bigger guy. But when guys were just as big as he...
I won't say that he's necessarily the bigger guy. He was fighting at a weight class that.
Well, I'm just saying physically he was. That's not his fault. But he was. Right. But he was much stronger than them guys. You go back. You watch the Brian Valoria fight. Brian was outboxing him. In the first half of the fight. And then he fades like he always does. That's Brian is known for doing that. Yeah, and then the Puerto Rican. What's the Puerto Rican's name? He's a twin. Joey, you know
No.
God damn, I forgot his damn name. Too. Yeah, I forgot his name.
But if y'all know, give it to us in the comment section.
Yeah, and we having a bad connection. I think YouTube is tripping right now, but it's like it's turning red over here, so it's a real bad connection right now. So, but just remember, guys, the playback will be on the channel, so it won't be any interference or interruptions if there is any right now. But when he's a Puerto Rican fighter, and like I said, he has a twin. They're both fighters. Mm-hmm. That guy was giving Roman hell in the division. And what division was it? I keep saying him. What weight class was Roman at before? Was it 115 or was it 112?
112.
Okay, when he was at 112, so it's killing me. I forget this guy's name. But anyway, man, like I said, I called this long time ago, and this is the reason why I was able to single him out, and this is why Joey was able to single him out, is mainly because of his style, not because he was in a particular division. It was because in this sport, in every sport, defense is the most important. And in boxing, it's more important than any other sport.
I'll ask this one question though, and of course, I don't know if he smokes crack or do PEDs, but this kind of makes the Manny Pacquiao move up in weight, 8 different weight classes, kind of sucks to me.
Yeah,
because the thing is, how is it you move up from flyweight to welterweight
and get more powerful,
and get more powerful,
stronger,
and faster?
And get bigger.
You keep your speed.
That's got me scratching my head too.
It makes everybody, anybody that got common sense ought to know, man. Hey,
Floyd had to rely on his defense at the higher weight class.
Yeah, he had to.
People don't realize Floyd was a knockout artist at the younger weight. A lot of people weight class, knocking people out left and right. Champions, right. You know what I mean? A bigger guy like Diego Corrales, he moved all the way up, and now all of a sudden his punch output goes down a little bit more. He's not, he's not knocking guys out, and people are like, oh, he's boring, blah blah blah. But Manny went up and didn't have to rely on anything. What he always did. That's weird to me. You know what I mean? 8 weight classes, the record of all time. Mm-hmm. That's something.
Absolutely.
Hey, man.
And finally, he did end up fighting a welterweight though that was just way too naturally big, and he was walking through them shots.
Right.
And all Pacquiao relied on was what? The straight left hand over and over.
Yep.
If he knew how to put them punches together in that like 9th or whatever round it was, he probably would have stopped him. But he just kept throwing the left hand over and over. He wasn't trying to set it up. Nope. He wasn't using feints. He wasn't throwing lefts to the body. No, it was all left hand over and over.
Yep.
And that's what helped Jeff Horn survive in that round.
I think so too.
And I think Jeff Horn has the edge in the rematch.
They called up the rematch.
Yeah, because now Pacquiao said he wanted it in the Philippines or something like that.
Yeah. What'd you say, Kirk?
Yeah, they're not going to fight now, right?
Well, Pacquiao just said like a week ago he wants the fight to be in the Philippines, which I don't know. It sounds like it may not happen.
I've heard a few names floated around for Jeff Horn too, and I did hear Jesse Vargas' name.
Jesse Vargas?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. Jeff Horn.
Jesse would definitely beat him at this point. Jesse Vargas would beat Pacquiao at this point.
Yeah. Oh no. What about Jeff Horn?
Jeff Horn. I think Jesse beats Jeff Horn.
Yeah.
I think he does too.
Jesse Vargas beats Jeff Horn.
That would
be a good fight though.
That would be a very, very interesting fight. And Kirk, what did you think about Quadras against Estrada? And if you want to say anything else about what we was talking about, Roman, go ahead, man. Did you think Estrada deserved the decision or what?
That was the only fight that I missed in the triple header, so I can't even speak on that one.
Let me tell you, man, it's a fight of the year type candidate, bro. Yeah. It was a good fight. Quadras started off. I mean, the first half of the fight, he took control. He was throwing. The speed was getting him, but after a while, Estrada got the timing down and started picking his shots. He never got rattled, and then he dropped. He ended up dropping Quadras in the 11th, and it was a fight. And Jim Lampley, not Jim Lampley. We've been talking about him so much.
We queuing Jim Lampley up right now. Go ahead.
But man, Michael Buffer had a Steve Harvey moment last night because when the judges handed him the scorecard, he read off that Quadras was the winner. And then he had to come back, and they was like, no, the judges.
He said Carlos Estrada. That's what he said.
Yeah,
the winner is Carlos Estrada.
Yeah, they messed it up, and I'm like, wait a minute, man. So then they came back and they called it correctly. Mm-hmm. But that was a good fight, man. No,
it was a real good fight. I mean, Carlos, he came out. You could tell he was exerting a lot of energy.
He was.
He throws everything flurries, and it looks fancy, but it's all like flurries where he kind of leaves himself a little bit open. And Estrada was just composed. He's more of a person. He punch unless he really feels it's going to land.
Right.
So you could tell that it was a chance that he may get stronger in the second half, and that's exactly what happened. And then he started landing the better shots. But it was still a close fight, though.
It was a really close fight.
It was an extremely close fight. And then you got the monster.
The monster.
That boy is no joke, man. Inoue is no joke, man.
I told you, man, I haven't seen anything that scary come out of Japan since Godzilla.
Man.
That cat is, they call him the monster for a reason, man.
Joey, what'd you think about, did you catch Inoue?
I
didn't catch that one?
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was early. I know a lot of people missed that one, but he looks good, man. I mean, he has.
What night was that on?
It was on the undercard of the Carlos.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I didn't watch. I honestly didn't even tune in to HBO for that fight.
Yeah,
it was. I've been waiting on the Superfly.
It was a great exhibition. I mean, his jab, man. He's long. He has his jab. He has his slickness to him. He was really impressive. Go ahead, Kirk.
I was gonna say, he has a beautiful jab, and he sets up his punches very well. And he was digging to the body with them left hooks.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
You can tell he watches a lot of he watched a lot of black fighters.
Yeah. Well, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
He got a little.
Matter of fact, since you said that, I wondered. I'd like to ask him who was some of his favorite fighters, because I did see flashes of, I would say maybe just a little bit of Roy Jones. I seen flashes of Roy Jones. You know, I mean the quickness with the jab, even though Roy didn't jab a lot, but it reminded me of when Roy was fighting against Vinny Pazienza.
Yeah,
you know, that's what it kind of reminded me of with that jab.
I can say that.
But he looked good, man. He looked really, really good. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and play a clip. Now, Kirk, I don't know if you're gonna hear this, but you already heard what Jim Lampley said about Floyd, right? Did you hear what
I heard he said something, but I don't know what he said in particular.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip, and then I'll run it back to you. Hold on for a second. Now you guys gonna hear what he said before and after the McGregor, and then here, let's go ahead and play it. Okay, why am I not up?
Make for a 50th fight and the chance to get to 50-0. And who do I want to see him fight? I don't want to see him fight.
Do I want to see him fight? I don't want to see him fight.
It's not over yet. Now this is the second part.
To 50-0 and gets there by virtue of a walkover against who isn't a boxer. So you know, I would not regard it as part of his boxing record, although I guess officially BoxRec is going to call it part of his boxing record because boxing match with boxing rules, but it's precisely because it's a boxing match with boxing rules that I don't understand why anybody's really interested in it. The notion that somebody with an MMA background and MMA skills is going to come into the ring and beat Floyd Mayweather in a boxing match, that's absurd on the face of it, and I'm not sure anybody in the world would believe that there's something there competitive enough to watch.
Okay, now this is the third part right here. This is where he finds out how the numbers were.
Watching, people were satisfied. How'd you feel? I haven't seen it. Okay, so I mean, I saw the stoppage. That's all I saw. Why would he be actually retired when you can make that much money that easily? Why not fight a woman next?
Why not fight a woman next?
You know, I think there are all sorts of ways for Floyd to make more money, and I expect him to make more money.
Okay, y'all. So that's the clip. Hey, Kirk, did you hear that? You probably didn't hear it. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't hear it.
Okay, basically, let me just give you the rundown. He basically, he said he didn't watch the Conor McGregor fight. He said he doesn't. They asked, who would you like to see Floyd fight? He said, I don't want to see him fight. I don't want to see him fight at all. And then he said, he'll probably, maybe he should fight a woman next. That's what he said, right, Mill?
Yeah.
Did I quote that right?
Yeah, you summarized it pretty good.
Yeah, he said fight a woman. I mean, this is my thing. I mean, we can go all over the place with this, but first things first needs to be noted. You got to have some serious disdain for someone when you expose yourself for something you actually was charged for.
Right.
Because, of course, he's talking about fighting a woman. He's calling Floyd Mayweather a woman beater, of course, right? Crazy thing is, Jim Lampley in 2007, he was charged for domestic abuse of a woman. He was basically a stalking, basically. And he was charged for domestic abuse. So it's to me that he would actually,
isn't it ironic?
That he would accuse somebody of being a white or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
What's so crazy is, it's like you could just see and hear the anger he has, knowing that Roman Gonzalez just got out. And Jim Lampley.
This is after that knockout? This is after Roman.
I believe this was after, but that I'm not sure about because do you know if this was?
I don't know if it is or not. I think it is, but
then I'll retract that. I'll retract that until I find out for sure. But it makes sense because it just surfaced right after that fight, So we'll make sure though. But still, I mean, after Floyd Mayweather, after Floyd Mayweather beat Maidana in a rematch, Jim Lampley he had a meltdown and he said I don't want to see him anymore and he beats on women and I'm paraphrasing. This is pretty much what he said. Joey, I guess it goes back to certain members of the media. They just want a certain fighter, to represent the sport.
Right.
I mean, is that what it comes down to? Like they want to see that type of aggressive. Or and I won't even. I mean, that's the excuse they use. I'm just, what they say. But what do you think?
I think it's deeper. I think it comes down to the fact that Floyd's not on their side of the business, and if instead of just representing the sport well, and whether it's on Showtime Boxing or HBO Boxing, as long as there's being, entertainment and good fights being made, then happy for that. If he said he didn't watch the fight and I still haven't seen it. Well, that sucks for him. You know what I mean? Because I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think everybody in boxing did, even though it was pretty much boxing and UFC enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear. I think Floyd's approval rating is like up here right now. Just based off of how entertaining the fight was. He knew what he was doing, and whether it was, whether we could tell. Sometimes what's going to happen in a movie. There's a predictable ending in a movie, but you're still gonna watch it.
You're still gonna watch
and
it,
enjoy it. And Floyd's earned the right to do what he wants to do, and I think that it's sad that some people are mad to see somebody winning to that point. You know what I mean? Winning, he's making money doing virtually nothing. He earned that.
Yeah.
And for years and years, you guys didn't give him his credit. Not just the media, but the fans didn't give him his credit. And he did. He had plenty of hard fights. So if he wants to take an easy one and rob the bank, then that's his choice, and he deserves that.
Yeah, I mean, he fight that everybody said they wanted him to fight, which was Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, and you didn't give him credit.
He beat him, and at the time when Pacquiao was considered pound for pound top 2 on some people's list.
Yeah, I know.
So they can't even use the excuse, he was old, he was faded.
He was still pound for pound 1 and 2.
Yeah. Because how many fighters that's considered old, faded, that's considered number 2 pound for pound, even top 5.
The thing that has always puzzled me.
You're not that he lost. He beat Vargas and Bradley, who were top guys.
Yeah.
So it's not like he beat him.
And they said that was his best performance. When he beat Bradley the 3rd time, they said that was vintage Manny Pacquiao. Is what they said.
The argument that Floyd waited until Manny got old. I'm like, how is it that Manny got old and Floyd didn't? And
Floyd's older,
and he's 2 or 3 years older than Manny. How is it that he waited him out? I'm like, come on, man. Well, he was in tougher fights. Floyd was in tough fights too. Maidana wasn't easy. Cotto wasn't easy.
And tougher fights. So you drain Oscar De La Hoya to 145.
Yeah.
You drain Cotto to he drains all these fighters. Yeah. How is it tougher fights?
He drained Eric Morales. They wouldn't give him 2 pounds.
They fought the same people. Manny and Floyd fought basically the same people. Yeah. And Manny usually fought him after Floyd fought him.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Knocked out or lost.
Exactly. Except for the Cotto fight, and Floyd fought Cotto at his walking around weight at 54. So reason, that's the only,
And Cotto was coming off of the Margarito fight, if I'm not mistaken.
He was sky high.
He got knocked out.
You know what I mean? He had great
damaged
confidence
after that fight.
Mosley came to Freddie Roach's gym before he had lost. He wanted to fight Pacquiao. Right. Freddie Roach didn't want the fight. Right. Manny Pacquiao, they didn't want the fight. Soon as Shane Mosley loses, all of a sudden they take the fight.
And Floyd fought Marquez. Everybody, talks about Floyd's reputation being damaged because he fought a lightweight and beat him so bad. Okay, but then Manny can't.
Right. So why can't Manny do it?
It's always the double standard between the two. It's the double standard.
Manny fought Marquez like 4 times. Floyd just made it look easy, so it's got to be small. But Floyd was too big for Marquez, but not Pacquiao.
Yeah.
But then right when Floyd beats Manny, then all of a sudden Floyd's too big for Manny too.
Right.
Well, you could have pretty much guessed that he was going to be too big then if you already called him too big for Marquez. And that's amazing.
That's amazing, Joey. And you know what else is funny about that? I remember in the dressing room before the fight, I think it was the 3rd one. I think it was the third one, Manny Pacquiao, he said he's going to beat Marquez. Why? He said because he's bigger. He said, Manny Pacquiao said because he's the bigger guy, because he's been fighting much bigger guys. That's why he's going to beat him. He struggled. He struggled in the third fight, then got knocked out in the fourth fight.
Yeah.
So, once again, man, even
which I think he lost the third fight.
Yeah, but that was my point. Mm-hmm. That was my point. He believed that because he was naturally bigger, it was going to be easier.
And that third fight happened when Manny was on a roll. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You know, so you can't even say it's because, you know, he was faded when Marquez beat him the fourth time, because when he fought the first time, he was on a roll. That's when he was.
Absolutely.
And Marquez, you know, basically beats him. Everybody thought he lost. I remember saying, wow, that was, you know, I remember watching that and saying that was a robbery. And Marquez did enough to win. You know, and then when Floyd beats Pacquiao and everybody's talking about how it was a boring fight and different things, it's amazing to me. It's
crazy. You know, we don't have to sugarcoat it. I mean, we know some of these fighters just don't have the complexion for the protection at the end of the day. You know, but it's funny because we know that if Manny Pacquiao would have won that fight, nobody would have said the fight was boring.
Right.
Because what they want to see is the result. Yeah. They don't care about, you know, how the fight played out. If someone beats Floyd, they just want to see Floyd's face expression, finding out that he done lost for the first time. That's all people want to see.
That's all, you know? And it's one thing I want to dig back into with what Jim Lampley stated. He was like, I guess he goes to 50-0. You know, I guess it goes to, towards his boxing record. I guess boxing record are counted. I'm like, if Conor had gone in there and knocked Floyd's ass flat,
you would have called
it. They would have gave him that L. Yeah. That L would have stuck like, my God, man. He could. He wouldn't have been able to wash it off.
And the funny thing is, we know deep down Jim was watching, and when he seen Conor land that uppercut, he said, I know he said right up like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, he watched it. He watched the fight.
But he's done that. He's done that on numerous occasions with Floyd fights. You know, like I remember when Floyd was fighting against Victor Ortiz. When Victor Ortiz was doing good, and he was like, look, man, Victor Ortiz is doing good. Look at him. He's smiling at Floyd. And look, he's taking the shots. Oh, look, but he's coming back. He's saying all this good stuff about Victor. Soon as Victor gets knocked out, then all of a sudden, Floyd fought another inexperienced fighter. Man. He fought another green fighter. He fought this. He fought that. You know, so
it's not even. I mean, when they're young, hungry lions who just came off the biggest win of his career,
biggest win of their career.
Victor just beat Berto, and if you look back at Floyd's career, he always did that, and it could be about money and it's about legacy. But he fought Victor Ortiz right after he beat Berto, who no one expected to lose. I mean, Berto was supposed to be that next big thing, right there with Floyd and Pacquiao at that time.
Right,
Victor beat him, so Floyd his first fight back, and a lot of times Floyd was coming off of layoffs because he had a lot of layoffs.
Absolutely.
So he comes back after what it was. I remember it was like a 12-month layoff or something like that after that fight. And came right back and fought Victor Ortiz. But when they're young, 23, 24-year-olds, right in the prime of their career, they're too young. But when you fight Manny at 31, where he's supposed to be, okay, now he's seasoned. What do you want? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? When he beats Canelo, who everyone expected to beat him. They try to act like, they didn't all say that Canelo was going to beat Floyd. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Everybody did. Everybody said that. But then now it's, he's too young, and now he would beat him. I don't see that much of a difference to me.
Let me tell you this, young man. When you
they use a lot of excuses whenever credit is being applied towards Mayweather. So if he wins the fight, which he's always done, they'll try and find an excuse to take away his credit.
Yeah.
And like even with the McGregor victory, for instance, people want to say they shouldn't count that as a win. But if you look back in the history of boxing, there's been plenty of fighters who have fought other fighters who are making their debuts in the ring. I mean, just look at Roberto Duran. He fights deep into his career when he was fighting guys that had 1 or 2 fights.
Absolutely.
And he won.
Yeah, and when they
say... is there an asterisk towards his record?
Yeah.
I mean, there shouldn't be.
Yeah. What were you saying?
No, I was just going to say, hey, if you were around this game long enough and you're a spectacular fighter, and I think you're going to be... you're going to have a pretty good career.
I appreciate
Let me tell you.
I appreciate that.
Let me tell you. When you're great... it's going to be some people you'll never be able to satisfy.
Yeah, absolutely.
In order to be, I don't know the keys to success, but I know the keys to failure, and that's trying to please everybody.
Right.
And you're not going to please everybody. And so I think Floyd figured that out, and he's like, hey, I'm going to do me. Yeah. I'm going to do me. I'm not going to be running around here I know you got to get the people what they want sometimes, but you know, hey man, the man had an illustrious career, and some people just can't take it.
They can't,
you know, and it's just some people that
they can't.
I watched LeBron James play basketball, and I'm like, how in the world you hate on this man? You know what I mean? It's just people will find a way to hate on anybody. I don't care who it is if they're great.
Yeah.
So if you got 50 haters, what you need to figure out is how to get 52.
Right.
That's all you need to be worried about is how you can get more.
And focus on you, because there'll always be a lot of supporters.
Oh yeah.
So focus on your supporters and not your haters.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's a good point too.
And not only that, but you see some people take things different. You can see greatness. Like you said, how can anyone hate LeBron James? I hear people say, I hate LeBron James.
I know.
How do you hate LeBron James? The guy's great. You know what I mean?
I know.
If Floyd Mayweather's 50-0, you gotta, I mean, some people, but that's the difference. Somebody, I guarantee you that person who says he hates LeBron James won't make it in life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Won't make it
Or
to that
winning.
level of greatness,
right.
because in order to be that great, you got to be motivated at some point by someone who's great.
Right.
Some people look at greatness and they just get mad, and look at 50-0, and some people get mad, and that's a sad thing. You know what I mean? Me, I don't care. You know what I mean? Who it is, as long as they're doing great things, is gonna motivate me to do great things.
Speaking of that, who's your favorite fighter?
My favorite fighter, I got a lot of favorite fighters, to be honest. But I watched Floyd. Of course, Floyd was one of my favorites. Andre Ward. Roy Jones coming up, when I was a little kid, watching Roy Jones like crazy. I love Terrence Crawford. Some of the, the young fighters coming up. Terrence Crawford is great. Errol Spence is great. I love Canelo. I love the way he fights, and I love his defense on the inside. There's a lot of guys that I kind of, threw in the bucket. You know what I mean, and shook it up. I loved Ray Leonard. I watched a lot of Ray Leonard, the old school fighters. I mean, Muhammad Ali is one of my favorite fighters ever. Just all the. There's no, going back in time, all those great fighters that paved the way.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice, man. And then, Milt, we also have this news of your boy Adrian Broner. Did we talk about that yet?
No,
we haven't talked. We talked off air about it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So, Kirk, did you hear about your boy AB?
I heard he got locked up, or he got into some kind of trouble again.
Yeah, well, he didn't get locked up. I mean, at least from the report, not yet, at least, but from the report, I heard in security they let him go. But basically, he was on the strip out here in Vegas, and I guess he was pissed off about something, and some girl that was with him, she was trying to calm him down, and he was kind of like, pushing her away, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's kind of dark in the, on the video, but all of a sudden he clocked somebody and knocked somebody out cold. So
When was this?
This was this
last
morning.
night, or this morning.
Yeah,
last
this
night,
morning, last
He was
night.
just at the fight the other. That's crazy.
Yeah. It was. I guess. Did he go? Did you see him at the fight?
Yeah, he was right in front of me.
Oh, he was there at the fight.
Wow.
So
to hear that is crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and when you got licensed hands too, and you doing stuff like that,
man.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
He knows better. He knows better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, hey, man.
Let me just say this, man. I mean, there are some people who are concerned about being famous more so than they are being great.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're worried about being great, you don't have time for a lot of the foolishness.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of that time, man, you just had a loss where you underperformed. He way underperformed. He could have acquitted himself a lot better in that fight just by throwing his hands at something. But I don't know if his confidence is shaken after the three. Every time he steps up, though, at some point you are who you are. I
think it's a mental thing,
and I think it is mental.
Yeah.
But every time he stepped up, AB has come up short. He stepped up with Maidana. That was a huge fight, but he was out of his weight class. I mean, they jumped him up. I can say that. I give him that. But then, Sean Porter fight. He steps up again. I mean, let's fight at a catch weight.
Yeah, we got a catch weight.
Yeah, we gonna get a catch weight, and then he comes up short again.
Yeah.
And then now you bring this man comes up to 140.
Mm-hmm.
You make 140 easy. I think he came in at 138. I think he did on the scale.
He was in shape.
He was in shape.
He had
in shape.
no excuse.
No excuse. We made weight. We had a good camp. Now what? Where do you go now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is this the end for him?
I mean, when you hear he loses a fight that a lot of people think, he had a real good chance of winning, and then a month later he knocking out cats on the strip.
On the strip.
That's not a good sign.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good sign. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
I mean, hey man, pray for AB, man, because
absolutely.
That's that kind of stuff right there. It just doesn't look good. So, and once again, we already know he done already been through all kind of stuff, being shot at, and beating up people over bets and all kind of stuff like that. Over bets that he lost. That's some that's some deep stuff. You're gonna lose a bet, go over, beat the dude up, and take your money back. Pistol whip him. I think he pistol whipped him, man. I mean, God, dog. I mean, this is stuff you expect broke people to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
Desperate broke people that ain't got nothing to lose. You expect them to do something like that.
Man.
You don't expect somebody about billions to do that,
right?
You know what I mean?
You expect somebody who's about Bojangling.
You got to leave that street shit behind.
What's that?
You got to leave that street shit behind.
Yeah.
You can't take that.
As simple as that.
You got to have somebody in your ear, though. You got to have someone in your ear. Usually there's always somebody who can get through to you. It doesn't seem like, he really does. You got to have somebody to be able to get through to you. Keep you under control, whether it's a mentor or whether it's a father, or, you know what I mean? So, but that's sad.
Unfortunately for AB, that was the fight that he was actually supposed for his career.
Right.
It would have rejuvenated.
That was supposed to resurrect him, basically.
It would have rejuvenated his career.
Yeah. Because everybody thought we were going to see the Broner versus DeMarco Antonio or Vicente Escobedo, that type of Broner. And the crazy thing, Joey, is when he let his hands go.
Oh man,
he actually looked good in the fight.
I can go all day about that fight because I was one of those people who really heavily supported him to the death. I mean, I made bets, and I really thought that this was his time. I always supported him through his whole career, and to see him in that fight, literally every time he let his hands go, you could just. I mean, the guy. Garcia didn't even have enough size on him to do any damage to AB at all. You know what I mean? After AB was done with the fight, he didn't even have any marks on his face or anything. He was good. You know what I mean? He was good. All he had to do was let his hands go in that fight. And he looked in shape. He even said, I'm not tired after the fight. I don't know what was, going on there. That was a disappointing night. I was disappointed that night, because I really thought that he had that. I really thought. And he could have. That was what was most disappointing. It wasn't that Garcia was just that much better. Broner had everything that night. He had everything. And
everybody said what you just said. It wasn't that Garcia was that much better. Even Abel Sanchez, I interviewed him. That's the main thing he said. It wasn't so much of Garcia being better. It was just what Broner didn't do, and that's unfortunate for Garcia too. Because I mean, it was his best win, but no one is really talking about. How fantastic Mikey Garcia looked.
He didn't look that great. No, he didn't look spectacular. He won the fight, and he won by a wide margin. But it was like everybody could tell it's not really what Garcia is doing right now. It's what Broner's not doing right now. I want to see Garcia. It's hard, because I was one of the ones who said before the fight, Broner's gonna win this fight. You know what I mean? If he fights the way he should, the way he can, the way he can with all the talent that he's got. If he fights that way, he can win this fight. And I still believe in my heart he could have, People think you just go back on your word, like, oh, he could have beat him, what I mean? But it's true.
But it is tricky when you predicting that someone's gonna win, but they have to show up though. You know what I mean? They have to show up. If you believe a horse is gonna win, and then you find out that horse got a sprained ankle or has some kind of injury, then then that's the reason why he probably ain't gonna win.
And with him,
it has to be that they have to be 100%.
It's so mental with him, man.
Extremely mental.
His performances mirror that of Zab Judah, because Zab Judah's another guy.
That was definitely That reminded me, and I said that reminded me of Judah versus Paulie Malignaggi. Because that was another fight where that was supposed to be somewhat of a resurrection type of fight for Zab Judah.
Right.
Everybody thought Zab was going to win the fight. He goes in there and doesn't show up. That's exactly what AB
had to do
did.
Was really throw punches in that fight.
Yeah,
like, just like Garcia. All you got to do is keep your hands going.
What'd say, Kirk?
You can go to any Zab Judah fight really and say the same thing. I mean, when he was fighting Cotto,
Carlos Boldemir.
Baltimore.
Carlos Boulder. Yeah.
The only fight he really rose to the occasion was against Corey Spinks in the rematch.
But
aside from that.
But I will say he fought way more in all those fights, though.
Yeah.
Compared to the Paulie fight. The Paulie fight was just you know, it was nothing at all. You know, I remember he even knocked out that undefeated. What was the undefeated dude he knocked out on ESPN? Dude was supposed to obliterate Zab Judah.
And he came back.
The light skin black dude. I forgot his name, man. But he was a good prospect.
We forget his name now. Zab messed everything up. I remember that guy. He was looking good when everyone thought he was gonna lose. Man, Zab came in and ended that.
Man, he destroyed him, man. So yeah, man, that's pretty much what it is. Well, we're gonna definitely close out. We're talking about the big fight this weekend. Let's start with you, Kirk. Ain't heard from you in a minute. Go ahead and break it down. Does your prediction change? Golovkin versus Canelo, man. How does it go down next weekend, man?
I got Canelo winning by either decision or maybe even a late knockout. And I believe he's gonna. The key thing that I talked about, and Dante, you mentioned it as well, we both agreed with this, is punching in between the exchanges.
Mm-hmm.
I think a great counterpuncher, and he has really good timing.
I totally agree.
With Golovkin, when he goes on the defensive, he shells up, and then he can get combinations off and effective. Yep. And I think Canelo's going to use that to his advantage and take advantage of that weakness. And there's going to be times where he's going to be pushing Golovkin back. I think that's why we're seeing Canelo with that extra weight. Mm-hmm. And he's going to use that to kind of push Golovkin back, because I think there's two ways you can beat Golovkin. You can beat him by fighting in the trenches, pushing him back, getting within his space, and to an extent you can kind of fight from the outside and move around laterally. I don't think Canelo has that foot speed where he can do that, so I think he will fight in the trenches and try and push him back. And he's going to be smart about it. He won't just go in there bum rushing him like Floyd did against McGregor, for instance. He'll be smart about it, because he has to be wary of Golovkin's power, but I do believe he's going to go to the body a whole lot, and I just see him winning the fight.
Yeah, I totally agree. And Joey, you've been saying it for months. Go ahead and give us your prediction.
I think that it's the only thing that I think Canelo is definitely a better fighter. I think the only thing that makes it interesting to me is just Gennady's size, but I think Canelo's skills will still show up, and I think that he's going to win by. I think he's going to win by decision. I think his defense is too good on the inside. I think he's going to surprise Gennady a little bit when he's swinging on him and he's not hitting anything. Or he's swinging, and Canelo's a great counterpuncher. Gennady has been so focused on knockouts, even against Andy Jacobs. I don't even remember him going to the body in that fight. Yeah. And it's going to take a lot. I think Canelo's got more in his trick bag. You know what I mean? More to reach into and grab when things get tough in that fight. I think Gennady's just been looking really one-dimensional. People have been saying, well, what about the Lemieux fight? You know, Gennady worked the jab more and box him. Canelo wants him to work the jab. You know what I mean? He's a counterpuncher. If you look at even the Chavez fight, that's exactly what he wants him to do. If he just tries to stick that jab all night, it's going to be worse. You know what I mean? It's going to be way worse. I think that Canelo's going to go over that jab all night, and like he said, I think he's going to be working the body all night too. Combinations body to head. I think he's going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah. Milton?
I'm not switching up. I'm still going with Triple G. And
I'm glad somebody is.
You know, the thing is, last night, because for a while I have been hearing, even though Triple G is up, is the favorite in this fight on the betting odds, you know what I mean? But you haven't heard a lot of people who are going with Triple G. A lot of people are going Canelo.
I don't know about that, man. A lot of people are going with the power.
I think it's about even. It's about even.
It's even. It's even.
But, you know,
it is about even.
I'd say the Canelo supporters are a lot more vocal, and I think that they break it down. But one thing about it, I will say this, you know, and I was kind of shocked last night to hear even Andre Ward go 60-40 in favor of Triple G. Over Canelo.
He thinks it because of the size. He thinks that because of the size.
But a lot of people. But I will say this though: Andre Ward knows boxing.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
He knows it. He knows it, and he sees something. I think people are underestimating Triple G's skill, because the thing is, he's not as slick. He's not the boxer that Canelo is. Definitely not. Canelo is the superior fighter, superior boxer. He has all the skill, but the thing is, what Triple G does, he does it exceptionally well. He throws the jab well, he goes to the body well, and he throws a left hook, straight right that's beautiful. And he just does it well. He breaks people down. And from what I understand, a lot of people I've heard talk about him say, hey man, it is that old adage that Tyson said is, you know, everybody comes in with a fight plan until you get hit in the mouth. They're like, when you get hit by him, it changes up your whole focus because you don't want to do that again.
But see,
we'll see though.
And Canelo has never been hit by a middleweight. I'm just saying that. He's moving up to middleweight. He has never been hit because the fight at 164 against Chavez Jr., that was, I mean, you can't really gauge anything off of that because he never, I mean, if you look at his opponents that he just fought, nobody is going to hit him. Nobody hit him like what, so he can expect what's coming at him next week. I'll just put it like that. I don't think he's ready for the power of Triple G.
Well, let me just say this too. You know, we also have to question how Golovkin reacts when he gets hit, because when he got hit by Danny Jacobs, he didn't respond in a confident way. He didn't seem comfortable in the fight. He backed up in that fight. He looked very uncomfortable. I think the biggest factor in this fight is the confidence level. And I think Canelo is going to be mental strength, and that's pretty much what I'm alluding to. I mean, I think that Canelo is going to be more confident. I think he's going to be more comfortable in the ring. I think that if they have a vicious exchange, I think Canelo, you know, he'll feed off of that, and he'll want more. I think it'll make Golovkin just a little bit more timid. I mean, because he looked real timid in the Danny. I think Canelo
he looked timid. I think that he knew. But this is the thing.
He looked uncomfortable.
He looked uncomfortable. But that's the first time that we've seen that. But he still pulled out the victory. And then also he dropped Danny Jacobs. And then also, one last thing.
Go ahead.
Danny Jacobs is much bigger, much taller.
Yeah, but Golovkin has never moved up in weight,
more reach.
But he's never moved up. But that's dealing with adversity again, though.
Yeah, so I don't think Canelo is going to do that.
The first person, you're known as a monster. And the first big guy you fight, now all of a sudden you having problems with because he's taller, because he's longer. When you deal with different opponents, you're supposed to find a way to win no matter what their style is.
But he did find a way to win. That's my point.
But to me, that was the beginning of the end as far as I'm concerned.
Kinda
just like Roman Gonzalez
going through.
There you go.
I agree with
it's
you.
the same thing.
No,
you see these things. You see these
chinks
in the armor.
What's say, Kirk?
Go ahead, Kirk.
You also got to look at the carryover. Jacobs really hurt Golovkin to the body in that fight, and there were talks of that he broke one of his ribs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if that's the case, I mean, fighting now from then to now, and being older, that's a quick turnaround. He hasn't had any
35
fights in between.
When you get that 35 mark, it's like it could either be a gradual decline. Or it could be a fall off of a cliff.
Right?
Yeah,
right.
You never know. When you hit 35, it is.
But we can't attribute it to that if that's the first time he fought an opponent like that. And now if he was dominating Danny Jacobs type of opponents when he was 30 or something like that, then you can say, okay, he's fading.
Right.
But when it's the first time,
when you give him the monster title, when he's
exactly.
Like, here's the thing: is Gennady's fought a lot of guys that. I mean, I was watching, what was his name, like Rubio or something? Like
Marco Antonio Rubio.
Marco Antonio Rubio. Okay, come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're calling this guy,
Adama.
I'm like,
Willie Monroe.
What's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, really.
Willie Monroe is fighting Billy Joe Sanders.
Willie Monroe went to distance with Gabriel Rosado, and it was like pretty, you know what I mean? They're not, these are not top fighters. You know what I mean? Gennady is, and then when Gennady finally stepped up with the top fighter, and I'm not saying that Gennady's not a top fighter, I'm saying he was fighting bums. You know what I mean? So when he's fighting bums and you're winning, and it's just business, so they're trying to build him up, and they're trying to build up a power fighter. Yeah. And I understand that, but it does contribute to a fight of this magnitude because Canelo has been he's been tested way more, and he's been groomed way more for this moment. You know what I mean? He's actually fought guys on the pound for pound list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. The minute Gennady fought Danny Jacobs, and he did find a way to win. So he fought Danny Jacobs, he found a way to win. But if you look at his face after the fight, he looked very, very confused.
And it wasn't a time of fight.
12 rounds.
Like, wow,
he had never been
12
rounds.
You know what I mean? Like, what's going on?
I put it like this too. But look at Canelo's, I say his last 5 opponents. You got Chavez Jr., Liam Smith, Amir Khan.
Just the Mayweather.
Warrior, what's his name?
James Kirkland.
James Kirkland.
Yeah.
Hey man, suspect Chin and a little man and Smith.
Well, yeah,
and Chavez Jr. not fighting back. Come on, man.
They definitely both did their share of cherry picking. I'm not saying they didn't.
Okay, all right. Well, that's
but
all
he has Lara
Let's
and
call
Mayweather,
it even.
no
Let's call it even, though.
But he has Lara, Mayweather, and Trout
beforehand. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying we comparing resumes.
And I'll say
and Cotto. Cotto was small, but still, I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, and then Cotto, he couldn't knock out Cotto. You know
I'm
what
not
saying?
saying. Yeah, I don't think Canelo's gonna win this fight by power punching. You know what I mean? I think he's gonna win.
But then also, it speaks to the test. Okay, so he couldn't knock out Cotto, but what does that say about Golovkin, who couldn't knock out Jacobs, who got sparked by Pirog a few years back?
Everybody keep talking about that, but Pirog had to quit boxing, and if he hadn't, he would have been a damn good fighter.
That's kind of hard to say.
It's hard to say, but he was not no slouch.
No, he wasn't a slouch.
And also, I don't think, and I'll say this too. In that fight, everybody don't consider that Danny Jacobs wasn't there fully mentally. He was dealing with a death in the family. Right after the fight, he flew back home to a funeral. And they even were talking about it right after the fight. I mean, he wasn't all the way in there, man. And I think that he has done enough to overcome
But
that.
remember this. Every single fighter, they have a Danny Jacobs type of opponent, where they step up in competition.
Right.
But the crazy thing is, he wasn't even on a Diego Corrales level, though, because he was a huge underdog. Corrales was a favorite to beat Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean?
There was countless of those fights for Ward and for Floyd and for past pound-for-pound fighters where they move up. And if Gennadi's what they're saying he is, then he would have done what Floyd did and what Dre did.
That's when you show it.
When you just dominate. And you're like, okay, this was a really good fighter, and then you just dominate him. You know what I mean? You knock him out within 6 rounds. Not only that, but you make him look bad, like Ward did against Kovalev the second time. Like Ward did against, even when he fought Mikkel Kessler. You know what I mean? The first test. You know what I mean? Just made it look easy. You know what I mean? Chad Dawson and you know what I mean? These guys, Arthur Abraham and all these guys who were big punchers, and it was a step up, and you just make it look easier and easier. That's pound for pound. You know what I mean? I don't think anyone's debating.
For me, that's elite. Elite fight. That is the epitome of an elite fighter. It is not only how you win, but not that you win, but in a dominant fashion. And I will say this, I just say with that one, I think that everybody underestimates how good Jacobs really is. And I believe Jacobs is probably the second best middleweight.
But you can't look at it. You can't look at it before the fight as Golovkin's going to destroy this guy. This guy's a bum.
I never said that.
No, I'm just saying this was the narrative. But I'm saying that was a narrative before the fight. That's what everybody was saying before the fight. They was like, he got knocked out already. I have fans that were getting mad at me just saying Jacobs has a chance in the fight.
We both were saying that.
And they were coming fans that were upset. They were like, he got knocked out already. He has no chin.
Yeah. What's say, Kirk?
Remember, we had Boxing Baby on.
Right.
We got into a huge discussion because she thought, and she loves Jacobs, that he was going to get slept within the first 4 rounds. And I was like, no, actually, I think Jacobs is going to box really well and make it towards the later rounds. And he could surprise some people. I mean, you have people supporting Jacobs who love him, who thought he was going to get slept by Golovkin due to the reputation of what happened to Jacobs
years ago.
That fight and due to the reputation of Golovkin's power.
And
that was the narrative that Jacobs would end up getting knocked out.
And here's the other thing, like what you said about the pound for pound. I agree with you. I think Danny Jacobs is the second best middleweight in the world right now. You know what I mean?
I do.
But also what pound for pound fighters can do is everybody else in their weight class that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. The best fighters in the world, pound for pound list, when you get put on that pound for pound list, you can make all the rest of those guys that are ranked in your weight class look, you know what I mean, easy. You know what I mean? That number 2 guy is not on your level.
I will say this, though. I'll say this.
And even if you don't knock him out, real quick, even if you don't knock him out, you finish strong at least. Because the Golovkin fight, it was up in the air. If anything, Jacobs started to do better as the fight went on. He started to do better. I mean, you would think that Golovkin, even if he didn't knock him out, he would have figured it out after 6 rounds to where, that's what a lot of special fighters do. They it may be tough the first half or the first 4 rounds, right? And then all of a sudden they figure it out, the blueprint prints out, and then they like, okay, now I got it.
I'll give it to Danny, because the thing is, one of the things I think Triple G thought is after he dropped him in the fourth, I think that he thought that it was over.
Yeah.
I think he thought that Danny was going to back down now.
I agree with
but
that.
no, Danny dug in. And he and started to bring the fight to him a little bit more. And so I think that Triple G was like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. This dude is still alive. Hey, he's still alive.
Yeah, he got back up and kind of surprised him.
Yeah, it surprised him.
And
it surprised him.
Sometimes when you knock somebody down, especially knockout
But
artists, you shut down. And you're like, okay, we're good.
We good.
Another easy one. In
But that's still not an excuse for struggling against somebody, though. That's not an. I mean, Mayweather knocked down Marquez in the second round, but he didn't take his foot off the gas, though. He didn't say, oh man, this is harder than I thought. I thought I had him out. I mean, you adjust. Floyd Mayweather when he knocked Corrales down 3 times. Corrales came back. And he was up for another 2 rounds. Standing up on his feet for another 2 rounds. Floyd had to figure out another way to get him out. So I mean, there's a lot of different examples we can use.
True.
But once again, I mean, you can look at Terrence Crawford when he fought against Victor Poso. That was a step up in competition.
Right, and
that was
dominated.
Yeah,
right.
That was, and Victor Poso was tough in the first couple rounds.
Like I said, Terrence Crawford, 140. He's number 1 at 140. Is there anybody 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at 140 that can even mess with Terrence Crawford? That's pound for pound.
Exactly. Where you don't have a game of fighters and you say, I think this guy might beat him. I think this guy. I mean, when it comes to Golovkin,
you're in a league of your own.
Yeah, exactly. When it comes to Golovkin, just think of all the other fighters that has a really good chance of beating him. I mean, you see it. Charlo, Danny Jacobs in the rematch. Fighters at super middleweight because Golovkin never moved up one weight class. There's a lot of opponents. I think he would stop him.
I think he would too.
Yeah, I said that.
I don't know.
I said that on the show.
I'm not real confident that because this is the thing.
Because I believe
I think that he is the best
Danny was
middleweight
timid.
in the world.
Danny was timid. I don't think Charlo would be as timid as Danny was.
Charlo's a dog.
Yeah.
I put like
in the rematch, I don't think Danny would fight the same way either. He would. That's a good point. He knows what he can do.
Oh, I think Danny would beat him worse in the second fight because he knows now. If you notice at the end of the fight when Danny started heating up and started realizing like he slapped his hands together a few times, like okay, this dude really can't hit like they say.
Yeah.
He did go down once, but then he also took some clean punches at the end of the fight that he was like, okay, wait a minute, they said he hit harder than this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, wait, I should be out of here by now. I think he believed.
Danny was hearing all of the hype, the monster. This guy's supposed to be a monster, and then as the fight progressed,
slowly started to believe in himself.
He started to believe like, wait a minute, this dude, he's not a machine, and that's pretty much
he was punking.
What, Kurt?
I'll say from a mental standpoint, he was punking Golovkin. He was in his face. He was, basically talking shit. Well, he was punking him.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just happen to be high on Danny. I really think that everybody was selling Danny so short, and everybody talking about that knockout. From what, everybody 7 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean,
someone who's already been knocked out before going up against someone with 20 consecutive knockouts. Of course,
But man, that was in the Bush administration.
I'm high on Danny.
Come on, man. We got to at least come to the Obama administration. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing: is like, what was?
Go ahead.
Here's the thing: is that Canelo, even if Triple G beats Canelo, that's still not pound for pound material.
No.
You understand? Why is Canelo ranked 8 pound for pound? Okay, he's on the pound for pound list. Applaud you for finally fighting somebody on the pound for pound list and beating them. But pound for going up and beating a guy like Andre Ward.
Yeah.
When Andre was at 168, I mean not 168. When he was at when he was at 168. And when Andre was at 168, you move up and you fight somebody like Andre and beat him. Like that would have been equal to Andre going up and beating Kovalev.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And then you've got a situation where it's like, okay, Gennady is pound for pound. But even if he beats Canelo still moved up. Now it's a good win. Don't get me wrong, because I think Canelo.
He moves up in the pound for pound list. He's just saying considered top. I wouldn't have him top 5 or something like that.
Because you beat a guy that's 8.
Yeah.
I've told you a long time ago. I think people get the pound for pound thing kind of slightly twisted a little bit because they rated the pound for pound list and they made it up because of the guy on his shirt.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
Ray Robinson was the first person that they ever said, well, this is the pound for pound best fighter in the world. Mm-hmm. And they start creating
because they focus solely on heavyweights.
They did. And they're saying he has the requisite skills, the speed, the power, everything in skill, everything being even. If he moves up, I don't care where you put him. If he had that kind of speed that you put him pound for
gonna
pound,
beat everybody.
he's gonna beat everybody.
Right.
Gennady Golovkin
Yes.
is a good, solid middleweight. He doesn't have the
100%.
hand speed to go down.
100%.
If he was at a welterweight with the skills that he has, he would not survive.
He's good where he's at.
Good
yeah.
where
Because the
he's
level of
at.
competition.
I don't want to say because of the level of competition.
If he
Just
went down
because
to welterweight,
what he does exceptionally well.
And that's why it's hard to say certain heavyweights are best pound for pound because they're good heavyweights.
They're good
right,
heavyweights.
Like what you're saying.
Right.
Like
there are only a
saying.
handful of heavyweights that have ever lived that you could probably put on a pound for pound list.
Right.
Because you can't move. They just have power.
Golovkin was a welterweight. Do you see him being undefeated?
No,
absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
And
Absolutely
so it is.
not.
So it is about the competition, though.
So I won't say that. I won't say he is a pound for pound fighter. I just say he is the best middleweight.
Right, and that he's got a good shot of winning this fight.
And he has a good.
very good shot.
No one's debating the pound for pound.
Yeah,
you know, he's.
I mean, but
that's the hype up with and I think
it's the industry.
It's the industry. Yeah, they did it with Chocolatito.
To the
As
point,
much as I like Chocolatito, looking back on it, I mean, hey, man, he may not have been pound for pound number one in the world.
Yeah,
you said May?
That's the hard thing.
I'm joking, but I'm joking.
That's the hard thing because you can really like these fighters. You know what I mean?
I really like
It's like
him.
it's not their fault that HBO is putting.
Yeah,
and it's not their fault.
Right.
Gennady's a good fighter, and you know it's hard to like separate the industry from them as a fighter because they're good, like you're saying. But it's like it's hard because guys like us who just want the fair part of the sport to come out. You put it on them, but it's not really on them.
It's like looking at Beyonce. It's like looking at Beyonce or Britney Spears, and you looking at like, hey, this chick over here dancing. Oh wow, Bay doing it. And then you look at Britney and like, who made this? Like you know somebody crafted this in the studio.
Yeah.
She can't sing, can't dance, but it's like, hey man, she's making money.
That's what it is.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, they wanted. That's what they wanted at the end of the day.
Yeah. Right.
So my prediction, I believe
my bad,
Canelo.
man. We got kind of down the red.
No. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, man. But I'm going with Canelo. Like I said, I believe Canelo may surprise people and even hurt or stop Golovkin. I believe that Golovkin, he's going to shell up just a little bit. Not like Chavez did, but I think he's going to shell up the way he did in the Danny Jacobs fight. And I believe that Canelo's confidence is going to be soaring as the fight progresses. But depending on how safety first Golovkin fights, we may see a knockout. But if he goes into cautious mode, it may go a decision. I don't believe he has that much of a power advantage. I just don't. I mean, we'll see, man. I know he's a strong puncher. I know he's an extreme strong puncher, but I don't believe that he's that much stronger than Canelo. But hey, we'll see. Okay. But at the end of the day, power may not even matter. Timing and confidence and precision and all that stuff.
It's a lot to be said for it.
Yeah,
a lot to be said for that timing, controlling distance. I mean, it's a few things that the intangibles that a lot of people don't see. He doesn't have the fastest hands, but he has accurate hands. And when he throws a punch, he lands.
Yeah.
And when he goes to the body, he knows when to go to the body.
That's
what I mean? It's just little things that he does, man.
That's why it's a good fight because you can say things about both fighters.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You can say things about both fighters.
And don't get me wrong. If Canelo wins, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, man, that's a huge surprise.
That'd be the same for me. If Gennady won, I wouldn't be like shocked at all.
Me as well.
I think that Canelo's gonna beat him. But,
Yeah, even if Golovkin knocked out Canelo, it wouldn't surprise me. Right. Yeah. So
let me
go ahead and take us out.
Yeah, man. And on that same night, I mean, the card they have for that one is not that strong. Even though I'm big on Diego De La Hoya, he's going to be on the card. And Antonio Orozco is going to be fighting on that night, too. But don't forget, Billy Joe Saunders has a title fight on that same day against William Monroe over in England. And then your boy Anthony Yard and Daniel Dubois.
Shouts out to Anthony Yard, one of the baddest boys. Y'all going to be hearing a lot about him, boy. A beast.
Callum Smith and Eric Scotland, they're going to be scrapping over in England as well. And then on the 22nd, we got some Oscar Valdez and Gilberto Ramirez on
Oscar
the same
back,
card.
huh?
Yeah, Oscar and Gilberto. I guess they're going to be keeping them on the same cards here. And then Jorge Linares fighting Luke Campbell. Luke Campbell, I think he only got like 17 fights, but he's gold medalist out of England. The kid is
not undefeated. Is he undefeated?
Undefeated.
Oh, he is undefeated.
Yeah. He's the WBC silver.
Okay.
And he's the and he's WBA what do you call it? Mandatory for Jorge Linares.
Okay.
But the kid, I mean, he's sharp. like I said, gold medalist. But not that many fights in, but he's 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? So
and Valdez didn't look too good against Mariaga in this last fight either.
No, he didn't. And then shout out to Caleb Plant.
Caleb Plant, another sweet hands,
doing his things the other night. Jalen Love fought Han to a draw. It was kind of
it was bizarre.
But it was like Jalen wasn't letting his hands go. He probably could have went. I think if it
would have went all the way to the distance, he probably would have gotten a decision.
Yeah, I think so too. That
head was spraying all over the place.
Right. And then, David Benavidez.
Yeah,
shout out to the young man. He's the youngest.
David Benavidez.
Yeah, youngest champion right now.
Right? Really?
Yeah.
Out of all of them.
20 years old.
Interesting.
Yeah, world champion.
How old is Erickson Lubin?
21.
Oh, he's 21.
21. Yeah, don't forget about. Yeah, he's 21. Don't y'all forget about October 14th.
Yeah, that
loaded card, that triple card, man. It is
that Lubison versus Charlo. Woo!
Yeah, man. Charlo, dang man, I know we closing out, but Charlo was saying some things about, hey man, he don't know how Lubin got this shot.
I heard him say that.
Yeah, man,
I heard him say that.
He don't know how Lubin getting this shot and all this. Man.
We gonna find out how Lubin got his shot when we see some of these rounds.
Yeah, I know, man. Yeah. I know this is gonna be a tough one, but I'm looking for Austin Trout to make a comeback, man, and do his thing again with Jarrett Hurd.
Hopefully he does, man.
I think he will, and then of course
that was a Charlo, man. That was a tough fight for Trout.
It is, and then
grueling fight.
It is, and I'll put it like this. And the last one was Lara. If he gets past Gaucher,
then they fight Andrade.
They're gonna put
so it's pretty much agreed upon.
It's pretty much agreed upon, and then Andrade he has a tune up that he has coming up too.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then also November, I don't know if y'all have heard, November 24th, I think it is. I'll check that date. But your man Sergey Kovalev is going to be back in action.
Him against Shabransky.
Yeah.
The man that they was bragging had knocked down Alexander Brand in sparring, and they were saying they was trying to say he was better than Ward because he had knocked down Alexander Brand, and Ward had went 12 rounds with him, and then it's funny how things play out. Right. And all of a sudden, Ward knocks out Kovalev.
Right.
It's crazy how things play out, man. My man Joey Spencer is in the building. Yeah. One of the best prospects out. Y'all gonna be hearing a lot about my man. Once again, Joey, let them know where they can follow you and what you got lined up, man.
Follow me on Instagram at Joey D Spencer, and just watch for me because we're gonna be doing some big things in the pros very soon. Making an announcement about what road we're gonna take. So just keep an eye out.
For sure.
That's what it is, man. Y'all already know what it is, man. Once again, for my co-host Milton in the building.
Hey, what I do.
Appreciate you guys.
My man Kirk Jackson on the line. Go ahead and check him out on boxinginsider.com. Kirk, what you got on your mind, man?
There was another fight yesterday. Alexander